Welcome back to Last Call with Jamion Christian. This is SpeakeasyForSports founder Sam Krosnick. Our special guest today is Nikola Vujčić, general manager with the Israeli club Maccabi Tel Aviv. We hope you enjoy.
Welcome to Last Call with Jamion Christian. Our guest today, Nikola Vujčić from Maccabi Tel Aviv. From Maccabi Tel Aviv. He's a sport director there, one of the best clubs in the world. So we're excited to welcome Nikola to our last call. How are you today?
I'm great. Happy to be with you guys.
I love it. I've got 1,000 questions for you, but I'm going to start with this one. What's it like being a former player and now have an opportunity to run one of the best clubs in the world?
It's very exciting. I would say that the dream become true. It's this basketball is my life. It's something that I dedicated already 30 years of my life, and I love it every day. And to be able to be part of the group of the people that run such a historical club like Maccabi, what else you can ask in life?
Yeah, it's one of the things where in America we're sort of still learning the European game, and we're still learning some of the bigger names. And your club is always right there. How have you guys been able to kind of cross over the international waters and have such a mainstay in basketball community?
Well, Maccabi has a great history. This year we're celebrating 90 years of the club, and it's a club with 108 titles. It's very hard to explain to American people. You are playing guys only for the one ring a year. And every year we have 3-4 competitions different that we are running to try to win the trophies. So Maccabi is known as a club with the most trophies in the world, the official trophies, 108. It's also a club that helped Israeli state to become, like one of Israeli presidents, Mr. Herzog said, Maccabi is the best ambassador of Israel in the world. And this is through history was known, and everybody that ever take the basketball in the hands knows what is Maccabi Tel Aviv. We played 16 Final Fours, 6 titles. So everybody likes the winners and titles. So it's also a club that is very loved by Israeli people and Jewish people. Lots of history, lots of great moments connected to this club, and I hope we continue to build a legacy.
Yeah, when Sam, our CEO here at Speakeasy, told me we could get you on the line, I was like, well, let's figure out a way, because I've got to learn more about Maccabi Tel Aviv, because it's just, you hear it so often. And, you hear about American players want to have an opportunity to play over there. And, it's just this buzz that's within the basketball community that's really unique. As we're still trying to learn about international basketball, it's something that again rings really loudly. What's it like being the sport director for that team? There's got to be tons of pressure year in and year out. 108 titles. You've got to be able to put a great team out there every single year.
Well, it's I would say the hottest chair in European basketball. But on other way, it's very challenging and it's very motivating to try to succeed and try to get there again. In Europe, you have to understand we are working a little bit different than in the NBA. In Europe, it's like a GM or sport director is not the one that, like in NBA, they build up the team together to take these guys, and coach is there to coach. In Europe, it's more connected to coaches. Coaches is having more respect. We always say that like NBA is the players' league and the EuroLeague is a coaches league. So to build a team, we are trying to cooperate together to do decision together, that coach also feel comfortable with players that they are in the team, and this is the way how we are working in Europe when we building the team. So of course it's lots of exposure and lots of opinions. We always said that we have 11,000 season tickets or 11,000 seats full every game. by 11,000 coaches. So it's but this is also beautiful. This is everybody loves basketball in Israel. Everybody want us to succeed. So again, it's part of this job.
Yeah, I would love for you. And again, we got so many of our listeners are aspiring to be in positions like you're in, and so I'd love, for the sake of learning, can you kind of walk us through, what's it like, right after the season ends? You've got some different contract stuff. You've got to be looking at different players. What's that like for you, right after the season ends, as you're trying to rebuild for the future?
Look, we are not starting when season finished. We're starting already adding some plans during the season. We already anticipating what kind of what players will stay, which players we want to stay, which player we don't want to stay, and trying to prepare ourselves for the future movement on the market. There is also one difference between the, let's say, NBA and Europe, is that we don't have the salary caps and we don't have the budget. We have let's say, quite big gap between first 4 or 5 teams and the rest of the league. So it's also, this is the challenging to be able to build a team to fight against the Real, Barcelona, FS, Fenerbahce, the teams that have probably 3 times bigger players budget than rest of us. So we try also to go out of box, try to way how to build a team that will overachieve. Basically, we are in the games of underdogs and trying to steal from the top teams. But I believe in some future this is going to be solved, and that we need to bring the league that is more based on knowledge, and the teams can be equal in the budgets, and it will make league much more interesting. Like this, I think last 5-6 years, all the time the same 3 teams are in Final Four, or same 6 teams in top 8. So this we need to make a little bit changes.
Yeah, it seems like a system where everybody can spin whatever they want to spin could create some really interesting highs and lows. So I could see that being tough to build consistency.
Yes, and also, I always say to my players, we are playing season because we are playing best of 34. End of the day, every game is important, and to qualify to top 8. So far, historically, it was always one game, 80-90 wins, but it was always one game. So there is no games that you can just take. Okay, today we can rest the players, or we can take it easy. I think this is also something that in European basketball is such a competitive and such a demanding. It's because every game is important. There is no such a thing as we just come and play and have fun. Even our fans, our fans are in NBA. They come, they buy popcorn, they come to enjoy, bring the family. And in Europe, everybody paint. We go to war. So even fans, we're going to battle together. So also this kind of environment, I love it. And again, it's demanding, and it's something that really take the big energy to handle it.
Yeah, the energy in the arenas. I have to admit that when I'm getting a chance to like study basketball, I'm studying more European basketball than I am American basketball, and I love the energy. How much of the energy do you think comes from almost like a soccer background, like a frenzy? You're going to have a ton of fun. I feel like those two communities and how they interact are really interesting watching the European model.
Well, in many clubs there is interaction between the fans and Maccabi Tel Aviv. There is a football team, soccer team, and a basketball team. The different owners, but the love is the same. So many of our fans are going to football, or opposite, they're coming to us. So there is interaction with them, and there is you can feel this kind of, like you said, that energy and the craziness that usually people see in the soccer. We have a great, amazing fans that atmosphere is beautiful. Yesterday was a game against Žalgiris. Gym was packed, and like all game, people were standing and cheering up. It was beautiful.
Yeah, it's when my friends come back from playing, they like talk so much about, they don't really talk as much. They might talk about some of the bigger rivalries they played in college, but when they come back from over the pond, they're raving about those environments and how challenging they are. Like they'll say, like, if you thought this was tough, you haven't played here and here. And so I've always been so intrigued by watching it because you've got horns going off, you've got people yelling and screaming. I mean, you can tell the energy. I can't imagine trying to make a free throw in that sort of environment.
So, listen, yes, it's completely different. We are all laughing here. Somebody in NBA curse the player, and they're bending for life from the gym. And here they're cursing you from your family to your everybody. And NBA, it's more entertainment. It's a more show. NBA, EuroLeague, it's more sport. It's more competition. It's more about winning. It's about engaging all your society in winning. And also, like we said here in the Mediterranean area, and we are hot, we are explosive, we are full of temperament. And these kind of things, people come for weekends to take off the energy. What all kind of energy they're collecting during the week, they come to the game. Maybe they cannot yell at home, so they come to the gym and curse the players and just to take out of the energy and be part of this. But there is lots of beauty in this, and until it doesn't come to the violent part, it's part of our culture.
Yeah, it's a beautiful game. We talked a little bit about just the level of championships. We talked about the environment. How does that dictate the head coaches or the coaches that you bring in to your organization?
Of course, this is something that has to be taken in consideration. Also, somebody, we have very knowledgeable crowd, very knowledgeable fans that you cannot surprise with the things that, and also you need to be able to bring the coach that fit their energy. Somebody that it's let's say in our case it's fast in reactions. Somebody that fans knows that they can be familiar with, so you can also get some credit because seasons there is lots of ups and downs. And in Europe we are much faster on the trigger to cut the coach than in the rest of the world. So when you bring the coach with a good resume and somebody that fans have a confidence, I always say give him more time to survive.
Yeah, it's such an interesting dynamic with a fan base who loves it, who's knowledgeable, with a team that's expecting to win, and then making sure that resume and the experience level of that coach is at the right level. How does that interact with the type of players, right? If you're bringing in guys from internationally that you're looking at, how does that dictate who you bring in there?
Of course, as they know the coaches, they know the players as well. We all want to bring the players with experience in EuroLeague, with experience in such environments that fans are familiar with, and they would love to come to see. We are in some way trying also to build stars or somebody that fans can interact with, and they can feel like it's their player. It's a little bit harder in Europe to keep the players because when they are good, they are going to step up. There is in Europe and in NBA there is a ladders up that you can go and get better financially or situation. So the players, it's very hard for us to keep somebody for like 10 years. Also, there is a tax things that doesn't bother the people, but there is also something after 5-6 years the tax rate goes up, and usually we cannot keep this player. So it's very hard to build the players' legacy here. That's why the clubs are more exposed. The love goes to the clubs, not to the players like let's say in NBA or American sports.
Yeah, so you've got to have an incredible database of agents, of players that you're constantly cycling through.
Yeah, look, it's everybody in the basketball world contact me or I contact them. It's not such a big, group. I would say that probably it's around 1,000 people. It sounds big. It sounds a lot, but when you calculate, when you cut it down to the number of contacts and everything, it's not so big. You can really get good information, and you can stay really do good scouting and be in contact with this group of people. And they also want to be in the contact with us, especially NBA. Let's say we have a contact with all 30 NBA clubs on all levels, cooperating. They're coming to us to see how we are working. We go to them to see how we're working. We learn from each other. So it's very nice community. I love it.
Yeah, I think what's neat about it is as you kind of climb that pyramid to the top, number one, there's a select number of players that can play at that level, right? So that cuts it down a little bit. There's probably a select number that want to go across the pond and have an opportunity to play, so that cuts it down a little bit. And then, and so it's as you start moving up that ladder a little bit, it does shrink a good bit. But I've had so many guys have had just great experiences with you all. Question for you. I mean, when we're, talk about the G League and the influence here, has that interrupted your growth, being able to bring players over, or what's that impact been for you all?
Yes, I have to say yes. We have through history, we also took some players from G League. Many players we took during the season, or we followed during the season and then we took it in summer. And of course, it's a league that you can see the players. But the moment that G League came closer to the teams, and the moment that they increased the budget, increased the payments to the players, it became harder. Or players are giving them more hope that they will make the NBA team. Players that they come to EuroLeague, only after they come, they say, wow, this is something that I didn't expect. This level of organization, this level of travel, conditions in the club, fans. They all say, wow, G League is 10 levels under this. But, I understand people coming from the college. It's hard to change the culture, change the continent, make this step. But it's also something for us in the scouting department. People that are making these steps, they are usually fighters. They are one that want to invest in themselves. They want to invest. They believe in themselves. It's not easy again to go from USA to. I'm not talking only Maccabi. I'm talking about you go to some countries in the second division for playing for like $2,000 a month. And we honestly, we found very good players out of this. They came from the very low leagues, and they climbed up to be in the even Europe champions. So the scouting job is very important. We really in Europe scout all the leagues. I mean, including second divisions in all leagues. And there is many good American players that are coming out of colleges. Of course, we are following them since colleges. But there is still, lots of players that are coming from the second, third division colleges, and they succeeding to make great careers.
Yeah, I mean the level of basketball in the EuroLeague is so good. I mean the coaching, the strategy, the understanding. We get a little bit of feel that watching the international play when anytime you're preparing for the Olympics or any of those things. You're just seeing every single year how basketball is just advancing around the world. You obviously were a tremendous player. I feel like we've been in this growth of basketball all around the world in the last, really the last 30 years. What role do you think you all have in that and being able to have such success wherever you're playing?
Look, I started from Europlastica. That's the team that you all know. Tony Kukoc came from this team. Dino Raja, Jean Tabak. We have so many. I think we have like 10 or 11 NBA rings in the city. It's a pure basketball city. This is where I grew up. Also, the way how we practice in that time, was something I would say that now your SEALs are doing. Yes, this was the more SEALs preparation than the basketball preparation, and all this period from age of 13, 14 to 22, 23, it was very demanding. Prepare you for all kinds of situations. So for me to go and change the teams was very simple. Adjustment was very fast. We were really studying the basketball on a different level. Like my coach that was my coach when I was young, like he told me, look, if today I will do the same preparation and same things that I did to you guys, probably after 2 weeks I will finish in prison with a 10-year sentence at least. So times are changing. We all need to adjust to this. Some of the let's say Americans are great in this. You guys, sport, it's the biggest religion in USA. Everybody knows everything. Everybody follows everything. And also, what is the most important, you have high school, college. You have your way how to players can really work from all these sides. In Europe, this suddenly changed last few decades, and this is something that I see that is much different than when I was a player. Today time is much harder to become player than it was before.
Last Call with Jamion Christian is powered by Speakeasy for Sports, the first exclusive platform for sports professionals by sports professionals. We connect you directly with top performers in the industry and allow you to build the relationships that will help grow your career. Think of it as the Final Four, NBA Summer League, or any other sports convention, all now from your laptop and phone 24/7, 365. Careers grow through relationships, and relationships grow through Speakeasy. Join the Speakeasy family today at SpeakeasyForSports.com. You know, it's interesting. You know, we obviously have the college system that we're kind of building from, that we're constantly looking at. But what you're looking at is such a bigger map. I mean, like you said, you're bringing in guys from different divisions, and players can mature. You know, I mean, players mostly mature between the ages of 23 and 25. So your scouting department's really got to do a great job of evaluating so many, because you don't know when someone's going to make that kind of physical and mental jump.
Yeah, this is very important. We are trying to, like you said, evaluate and predict when is going to be that jump. Honestly, you know, we did it many times in the club and did it on the good ratio. The players that when they come to us after 1-2 months, they were worth like triple, and the contribution was amazing. So this is something that we are really paying attention and cooperating with all the scouts. We are like I said, one community, including NBA scouts and European scouts. We're all together. We are all discussing the players, evaluating them, and trying to collect as much information as possible. So in today's time, with so much technology, it's very easy to be able to get all information about players.
Yeah, you know, about 2 years ago, I guess Denny was a rookie a year ago for the Wizards. What is that process like? You know, having a guy that's kind of coming through your club, Denny Avia, who plays for the Washington Wizards. What's that process like when he's able to move into the lottery and be drafted, and a guy you've been able to watch kind of grow?
Listen, this is something that he was a talent when he was age of 14. He was already pointed as from my people, my staff, that is the NBA project, and then he really get special program from youth, from age of, like I said, 14 until he went to the draft. He was under special program that we all analyze. We had the checkpoints to be sure that he's on the right track, and you know, I believe we really succeeded. Then he's unbelievable talent and he's unbelievable guy, and he already contributing in NBA. He's already 21, so or the best age is in front of him. If he stay healthy, everything good. I believe he's the guy that will be starting 5 Wizards for sure. And this process is something that, for me, let's say, it's very motivating and something that I'm looking forward. I don't know if you know, I had my academy that I started in Croatia. Dragan Bender was in this academy. He was drafted from Phoenix, and Ante Žižić, that was drafted from Boston, 22nd pick. So I have from academy 2 NBA drafts, and then I came here. Then he was here, so that was the third project. So this is something, of course, it's we are all happy that we are able to achieve such a high level of players production. It's something that also helping us to bring the players, because they see that we know what we are doing. I believe that we have the best development department in Europe to improve these players. And agent knows this. That's why so many good players coming. We have now Wade Baldwin with us, Alex Poitres, Lorenzo Brown, guys that they felt NBA. Lorenzo won this year European basketball championship with Spain. So all this giving us reputation to bring such quality players.
Yeah, you talked a little bit about like your academy that you started in Croatia, and what's so interesting is that in Europe the academy system is huge. It's the way that you develop players, bring players along. We're just starting to do that here in the United States. We kind of have like the overtime elites. We have, we kind of starting to kind of get into the academy system. Why do you think the academy system works so well?
Because in Europe, it's the way how to give extra to these talents, extra work. It's something that in the academy, it's like a small group, selected group of players. It's basketball schools are something much bigger, but when you go to the academy level, it's something that is the after you filtrate the thousands of kids, you're bringing them to 14, 15 kids that you will work in. Inside this 14, 15, you cannot have more than 2, 3 top talents. Otherwise, you will not develop nobody. So there is few academies in Europe that are doing amazing job. I would say Mega from Serbia. Jokic is from there, Micic, Zubac also passed through this. So they are doing an amazing job with the developing top level players. But every big club trying to also build academy. Maccabi has academy, Barcelona has their academy, Real. Every team building their academy and trying to develop the players through this academy. Real has had a Doncic from their academy. So in Europe now, NBA. Not NBA, the Americans trying to do the same system, like you said, overtime, because they want to. I think this is something that will force NCAA to change the rules, because NCAA they are not working enough. High school and NCAA, they're not working enough, and the players see that they can develop themselves more with the more work, with the less restrictions, and this is where the academy see themselves as a place where they can take these top talents and develop them to the next level. I was in shock when I visited few colleges, and I was in shock when I realized that after the season finish, head coach is not allowed to enter the gym for like 6 months.
Yeah.
To work out with the player, or they can work 1 hour a day. We cannot become the players on the high level like that, So that's why there is lots of personal coaches. There is lots of academies that are trying to take these players and to develop on the high level.
Yeah, it's such an interesting dynamic, and I've had a chance on my tours recently to be able to go and watch a bunch of people work out and practice, and it dawned on me, like, we're not really playing a lot of basketball. I think in our need to be like everyone else within the NCAA, we've kind of stifled our ability to practice and perform at the level. Anytime they do the NCAA studies, the basketball players are always amongst a group that they want more coaching, they want more time on the floor, and it's like this constant fight against, with the other sports that maybe don't want to have as much access, and where basketball players really love being on the floor and practicing their craft.
Yeah, look, I really cannot understand what is behind this, because we are a profession that generating billions of dollars, and the schooling system has to be adjusted to this profession. Same as is adjusted if you want to become any other profession. It's adjusted to this profession. So as well, if somebody decide to be basketball player, should be treated the same as he decided to be scientist or decided to be professor in the school, or so it has to be the system. Basketball system need to be adjusted. Schooling system need to be adjusted to him. This is something also that Europe we have a problem that we're trying to solve, and the schooling system will recognize sport as a study, as a course, as something that you have to respect as a profession, because again, the sport is generating so much income and so much bringing to the communities values, that there is no reason that schooling system must be adjusted to this. So players need to be able to practice and rest during the schooling system. Okay, study as a safety in case of something happened, but this is also some kind of misunderstanding, because when you, if you want to study, you can study when you are 22, 23, 25, 27. But basketball, you can play only these few years. If you didn't take the basics, you cannot decide age of 25, okay, today I'm going to become a basketball player. And so it's important not to lose this period from 14 to 22. It's the period of time that you need to develop your body, you need to develop your skills. And the schooling system need to be adjusted to this. It's, again, something that need to be taught, because we are not following progress of sport with these kind of things. Everybody say, look, it's very important that you finish the school. But yes, but it's not more important than be able to invest yourself in these 8 years in the sport. If somebody decided to be a basketball player or a soccer player, you have to respect his decision. The same doesn't mean that if somebody decide also to be to have a profession in the business, he'll be succeed. Maybe many people change their course end of the last 2 years, said, oh, I made mistake, I don't like business, I go to something else. So it's not like a schooling system is something that is for 100% successful and cannot be changed. It has to be it. So NCAA has such a good conditions. I mean, the facility-wise and knowledge-wise, and I find out that 6 months they are lifting weights and doing, maybe some kind of shooting, and 6 months basically they are wasting. They could put another couple of hundred of hours of work to develop their skills, and has to be changed, because our sport it's same demanding as any other profession. Yeah,
I was. I've been touring a bunch of schools and seeing some NBA people practice and play, and I was like, the NBA, the model, the pro model, it just seems so enticing right now because it's basketball, and you're getting a chance to basketball coach basketball. I mean, I always felt like, the last few years, I was like, I'm only spending about 20% of my time coaching basketball, and that's what you do, and that's your passion. It's hard to, to divide your day up where you only get those 1 or 2 hours on an annual basis.
Yeah, this is what is good in Europe. My coach is working 24/7. There is no time for anything. If you want to do work basketball 24/7, I think Europe is perfect place to be.
Yeah. Now, you said, you take so much pride in your development structure, what you guys been able to do there. What are some things you think you're doing great in development wise that's allowing your players to continue to improve?
Well, there is many aspects that has to be taken in consideration. First, from age of 14 already to understand where these kids are aiming to, positioning wise, what kind of skills they need to be developed in this period of time. Who's the people they're going to work with them? Who is the people they're going to follow the checkpoints? If they are these checkpoints, they are according to the plan that we have. You are taking somebody kid that you're taking some kind of responsibility to push this kid in a future life. So I think it has to be everything taken consideration. Be surrounded with people that they are taking this job seriously. They were willing to learn, and this is something that I believe that I succeed to build around Maccabi, around my academy before, because the most important thing is the people. People that they are working with the kids, that people that they are trying to bring these players on the something level, and to be all the time motivated. Kids are, you know how it's with kids. They're going up and down with their during the development, and you need to develop them to be also like we talked before. You're coming to play Olympiacos against Panathinaikos in Greece. You have 22,000 people that are burning the flames and throwing this, and then you're coming to the free throw line and you need to score. To be able to come to this level, the kids need to grow up also under some kind of pressure. It's not nice, when you say, "Wow, you're putting kids under pressure," it sounds terrible, but this is something that is preparing them for life, preparing them for our job. Not only for basketball, also for the situations in life that they need to handle under the pressure, and to be able to make the best decision under this pressure. So this is something that we are trying to build, incorporate in their process of development.
Yeah, and a part of that development is building a level of resiliency. What's the communication like? Let's say a player comes over to the NBA. What's the communication like in terms of helping them transition to that environment? Because you obviously care deeply about their success.
So I can say only from my side of academy. When Bender went to NBA, coach went with him. Then he went to Washington. His personal coach went with him to help him in this kind of transition. To have a person next to him to be able to have somebody to communicate, familiar with him about basketball things, about because you are coming from Europe, that is much more strict. The coaches that they are yelling on you, the fans that they are yelling on you, and suddenly you're coming like in Las Vegas, all shiny, all light, all high level, and they are all surrounded with people. I calling them good job guys. When you come to the practice in NBA, I have many chances to come to the many facilities. It's only good job, good job, good job. I'm watching him; he's doing everything wrong, and he's still telling him good job, good job, good job, good job. So it's like to be able to filtrate this information, they need to get some kind of experience, and that's why I think they need to be surrounded in the beginning with the age of 18, 19. They are still kids. They still need to be able to filtrate information and to know how to do how to make this transition. I think Danny is a good example. I believe that he made this transition good. He had tough moments, but he was surrounded with good people around him to be able to make this transition. I expect him this year to make really, really high, like really, really improvement.
Yeah, it's just so interesting to watch. And I was in Washington, D.C. at the time. My brother was an assistant coach of the Wizards when Denny was drafted and was there. So it was always great talking to him about his transition and how, they really felt like he was really prepared to come in and contribute right away as a rookie. A little surprised at how good he was on the defensive end of the floor, and then some of those things. I think sometimes you come in with a preconceived notion of what a player is going to be. And, I could tell from communication with a lot of them that they were really surprised at, how he was defensively, but then how well he really fit in, really early on in that season. He was really helping them, win basketball games.
Yeah. If I remember good, then it was one part of the season last year of the best percentage defender in NBA.
Yeah.
Crazy number. And he really take the defense seriously. I believe also the other thing that helped him to prepare for NBA was that he was surrounded in Maccabi with American players.
Yeah.
So he was already part of some kind of part of the culture. He was able to communicate with them on the right level because, it connected him together with this from the early age. And I think his transition was very good. Like you said, he really took pride in playing good defense, and I really enjoyed to watch him. I usually enjoy to watch offense. I'm more offensive minded, but I like also when players take this pride in defense on this level.
Yeah, it's been fun watching him and watching a lot of others, and you're kind of seeing the worlds kind of smash against one another internationally and domestically from our viewpoint, right? With how well all the international play in those games are, and it's been a lot of fun to watch. It's been a lot of fun to watch. You can tell that the academy system that you all are building with the level of culture you have for basketball excellence. It's really making a transition.
And it's like you said, it's a little bit different basketball. You can see that now we had the Europe Championship this summer. Doncic and Jokic lost in the quarterfinal, and Giannis lost in semifinal. I think in semifinal. Yeah. No, Giannis lost also in the quarterfinal. Nobody came to the semifinal. Spain that was really underdog before the season, before the championship, and they won. In Europe, it's different. Also, basketball. It's you can see from all the players that came from Europe to NBA, they all say so much easier to score basket in NBA. It's there is no zone defense. There is 3 seconds in defense. In Europe, you are entering the paint, you're getting the elbow. We are more like old school NBA. Old school NBA guys, when we really, you don't cry for every touch, and it's paint. It's much more packed. To score the basket in the paint, it's a mission.
It's just such a different world. It's like such a different game. I love the fact you said you come to the NBA practice and everything. It's like good job. And I think so much about becoming a great player is about truth and having people around you that will deliver you the truth.
Yes. This is look. At the end of the day, you have to be corrected because if you, I was really in shock, and it's like. You can see obviously that player is doing wrong. His technique is wrong, but he's still good job. What is good job? What breathing? He's breathing good because he doesn't work good. So this is in the process. You have to have correction. You have to have people that are able to stop the practice and say, "Wait, this is wrong. You have to do it like this if you want to improve." And I'm talking about mostly about this. Let's say younger age. After that, if players should improve until he play, he can always learn and improve his game. If somebody is willing to learn, he can learn until end of the career. So you have to be able also to have people to tell you this is not good.
Yeah. I want to go back to something that you talked about with Denny, with having a plan with a lot of American players for you all. I was kind of working on this thing over the summer about the importance of veterans. You're looking at a lot of these NBA rosters now, and they've got like 10 guys that are 19 years old. And I'm like, that's not good. It's not a good situation. What's the importance of veterans, keeping those who understand your culture, understand EuroLeague basketball? What's the importance of that on your roster?
Look, it's a speed up of process. If you have a good veteran that know how to guide the guys, I tell you something, the veterans are not good job guys. Veterans tell you, hey, what are you doing? This what are you doing? Like they cannot hold it. They see that you're doing wrong, so they will come to you. They will not tell you good job. They will tell you, hey, listen, what is this approach? You have to approach. You have to come to practice differently. This is what you make. This is the guy. And also, when you are down, this is the guys that hug you and say, listen, this is the moment that you are down. Don't worry, it's coming better time. Give you confidence. So it's very, very important, the process of building the good team to have a mix of people with experience and young players. Young players alone, they could become players, but they will not become the team without the veterans. Because I don't NBA system of rebuilding. For me, it's I will not say ridiculous, but it's something that I cannot familiar myself with this. You have a league that playing 16 teams playing for a playoff and 16 teams playing who's going to be worst. They are going through the processes to destroying the team and bringing the team again. Okay, you can have 10 picks, but what you are doing, the junior team of NBA team, these players without combination with good veterans, they will not be. You will not become good team, and you will not also have success. I really don't know the one team that succeed to win the NBA out of this rebuilding. I think New York rebuilding since 72. Like they are rebuilding it. And you have teams like Golden State or Lakers or this through history, they go and they buy the best players, and they win the titles. Even San Antonio, they build their legacy on Robinson and the guys before, and then they had Tim Duncan and Parker and Ginobili, but they were adding experienced players, and fasten the process. So they win 4, 5, 6 titles together. That's why important is to have veterans. I'm sure that Tim Duncan will have a much slower process without Robinson next to him.
Yeah.
So you have to have these kind of people next to each other.
And people sort of forget. I mean, the Spurs were very good with David Robinson, who was obviously a first-team All-NBA player.
Yes.
He got hurt for a year, and that allowed for the Spurs to be able to draft Tim Duncan. They didn't tank it. He got hurt.
Yes.
And then they took Tim Duncan on that year. And then you had kind of the Twin Towers with those two guys on that team where Avery Johnson, Sean Elliott, and a couple other really key veterans that I think Terry Cummings was on that team. And so the team that Tim Duncan walked into was a veteran-based team.
Exactly.
And then eventually the revolution of it was he then was the veteran for a lot of those other guys, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, when those guys came over. And I'm just surprised that more people aren't looking at that model as they're just trying to find one really, really talented player to build around.
I think that because also the coaching staff now, they went too much through the numbers and to the pure statistic without taking consideration experience. And because in basketball, if you take the player that scored 30 points, another scored 25 points, another scored 30 points, you will not come to 85 points, huh?
Yeah.
Even they have the statistical 85 points, you will not be able to get it to. You cannot take players like this because there is taking consideration many other aspects that has to be taken. Otherwise, it will be. It's not pure mathematics, and experience is something that is underestimated for many coaches. But only one that they are winning the titles, you will see always they're taking experience on.
Yeah.
If you ask the old coaches, if you take Bud or Greg or Pat Riley, they will all tell you, first give me experience, then we can talk about others. And you can see they are always surrounded. Even these players are not contributing so much. They have this guy that is scoring 5 points per game, 3 points per game, but he's doing everything else on the different level, including this connecting the players together. So this is something that is underestimated, but it's it's very valuable.
Yeah, I think as a player, you kind of recognize that, we've all played a ton of pickup or played a ton of basketball, right? And so, usually if you're holding the microphone now or you're running a club, you were a pretty good player. So you kind of recognize the value of someone who does some of the little things. There's certain guys that are kind of always open and they can always move the ball, and their stats might not show it, but their value on a team becomes so important because, like you said, they are the connector to all the greatness.
Yes, they always find this small pace. We always we said this, like old guy, he always box out. The young guys, they still think they can jump high and take the ball over the people. And the old guy, first thing he go and check the guy next to him. He doesn't jump, he just take the ball. Doesn't spend the energy on but he never forget to do these small things that giving advantages. And the small basketball is about, look, at the end of the game in Europe at least is differential is around 4 points. So there is small details. One basket here, one basket there, you win the game. Because you have to really take into consideration these small things.
Yeah, we always talk about winning in the margins. And talking about from the front office standpoint, what are some things that allow you to win in the margins, on the outside to help those little things help you build your team?
The difference, again, I'm saying it to be able to win, to make the distance yourself from the others. We are seeing it in Europe from these top teams, from Real Barcelona. These guys, they have money. What they are doing, they're buying experience. They're buying this group of guys that already won 3, 4, 5, 6 titles and connecting them together. This is also what we are trying to do, of course, as much as we can, to take the players that they felt winning the titles. They felt this adrenaline and they went through this process. And this is something that we are always trying to, good scouting, extra development department, good conditions. We are trying to add more stuff. But if you are able to bring the experienced group of guys, this is much easier cruising and distance yourself from all these guys that are trying to do only with the scouting and the numbers and this. Experience is still winning.
I love it. And I've enjoyed our conversation so much today. Nikola, we do one thing to finish out here, and it's Last Call is the title of our show. To the left of you have someone who's retired. To the right of you have someone who's still actively working. What 2 people would you want beside you at the end of the night?
I like to hang with both of them.
Yeah.
Let's finish with the experience things. The guys that they're retired, they still have experience of work. You can always talk to them. And the one that they're working, they're looking to improve and to become better. So now in this stage, I'm taking the guy that retired and, to tell me the story, how it is with fishing and playing golf and all good stuff, but you can learn from both.
I love it. Nikola, I appreciate you taking the time out. Good luck to you all season long. We're rooting for you. The unbelievable level here at Speakeasy.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you very much. And good luck, guys. And of course, let's stay in touch. I'm going to follow you for sure.
Thank you for joining us on The Last Call, powered by Speakeasy, where careers grow through relationships and relationships grow through Speakeasy. We hope you enjoyed it, and we look forward to connecting with you soon.